delay. Let me wipe off my camera. That's a little cleaner. I just got back. Just got back to my cousins from the game. It's 7 o'clock. Nicer weather out than it was today. It was really hot during that game. I had a good time, though, regardless. I saw a lot of people leaving early. It is what it is. It's kind of sad because all these Nebraska fans get amped up, get excited. A lot of people travel in for these games. And even though you play the toughest competition, the best teams, and it's exciting to go watch the best teams play, it's disheartening to continue to travel and come out for these big matchups when this is what keeps on happening. Not that it's a bad thing that it happened, or not that it's a terrible thing that it happened, because this is an inevitable situation. We're playing a national champion level team. You got to come out and have a good time and just enjoy enjoy it like a day at the park. Enjoy it with a bunch of friends. And it just sucks that you have to add in that they lose because nobody likes to lose. But hey, I had a good day overall. I got tickets from the Lindenmeyer family. They put me on the 50-yard line with them. Great seats. Great game day with them. It was awesome. I had a great time. So thank you to Luke Lindenmeyer and both his parents. They're awesome. And I got to meet a ton of Corn Craze supporters when I was walking around the stadium at some pregame stuff. So overall, it was a great day for me. I got to see Dylan and Dayton Rayola. And I was so optimistic when I saw them. Dayton's a future 5-star just like his brother Dylan is, right? And I have a pretty good feeling that Dayton's going to be Nebraska's first 5-star quarterback. He's a couple years younger, so it'll take some time to get him here. Nebraska needs some immediate fixes after what we watched today. But I saw some pop-ups on my YouTube before I made this video. I saw John Johnston from Coronation made his gut reaction, and so did Adam Carricker. I met Adam Carricker today, by the way. Cool. Haven't met him in person before. But I wonder what they're going to say. Because when I wanted to come on the live stream, I was like, today's live stream is not going to be a rant. It's not going to be anything negative. I mean, we can highlight a few negative things that happened, although I don't really want to highlight the negative things. It is what it is. We went against a team who's much more polished, who's completely refined, who has a great coaching staff in place, and who has all of their players who've been recruited to fit that system, right? So it just sucks that this is where we're at, and that the content that you have to or that you get to consume is about a team who doesn't have that many positive takeaways to pull away from out of this. But yeah, we're still here anyway. Andrew, thank you for the $5 super chat. You said, Coach Rule's a great coach. It's only a matter of time before this team turns it around. There's still a lot of hope for this year, despite what happened today. Today didn't change my mindset for how this season's going to go. I still think everything rides on Illinois this week. It's, right now, forget this happened. Wipe it out of your memory. I'm going to try to do a video tomorrow or Monday and find some positive takeaways. Maybe we can find 2, 3. Oh, I have a positive, guys. Positive takeaway. Every time there was a fumble or about to be a turnover, the dudes were making great plays to get on the ball and make sure that it didn't happen because they were so afraid that it might. So you can tell they've practiced ball security in practice, and they're not going to have any slip-ups. So that's one positive. Oh, second positive, Josh Fleeks moving from receiver to running back was probably a really good decision because it looks like Josh Fleeks could be a weapon there. Now, he did it against their third team, but he's still pretty fast, really elusive. He looks good for a running back, so I'd love to see more out of him and what else he could bring to the offense. He could be that third down back receiving out of the backfield. Emmett Johnson had a good play. So there were a few positives, right? The defense, though. You hate it for him because there was so much confidence after these last couple weeks, and there was so much talked about with them. But at the same time, they didn't have 2 starters. They didn't have Deshaun Singleton, who went out immediately. Luke Reimer, I heard, got sick earlier in the day, had to go to the hospital or something. What was that? Hoping that Luke's okay. I thought he had a concussion or some deal, but that's, concerning. But anyway, they still, it was a tough day. Dream and Digital, thank you for the $5 super chat. Happy birthday to our mini hunt. For Connor going to a game, and for all of us sticking together, GBR. Well, happy birthday to Minnie. I didn't know it was Minnie's birthday. Minnie sent me a text. Let me read the text to you guys. Minnie texted me during the game, and she said, wait. Oh, I'm on my computer, so my stuff's not updated. But Minnie said something along the lines, I posted on Twitter, of I wish that we could go back to the days when we were losing games by 1 score, which I thought was really funny because, man, I would have really appreciated and enjoyed a close game today. Like I said, it was a day at the park to hang out with friends. That's all it was. It wasn't a game because it wasn't competitive, unfortunately. Dave Portnoy was in town. He did his Barstool Sports show, and he left at halftime. There were a lot of people leaving at halftime. There were a lot of people left in the stands. But by the third quarter, it was clearing out. Student section was empty by the end of the third quarter. It's just, it's I get why people don't want to sit there and watch their team get blown out. Obviously, some people can come to a game every week. I can't. If you traveled in, you want to appreciate the atmosphere and the environment as much as you can. The pregame was spectacular. They played serious. They had the tunnel walk delayed, actually. So I start recording. I'm recording for 2 minutes before the team even comes out of the tunnel. And it was because, I'm assuming, Matt Rule was talking to the players, trying to hype them up and trying to instill a little bit of inspiration in there. But it just wasn't enough. It's not enough when you don't have the talent to match up with a team like Michigan. Like I said, who's been building for so long. So it is what it is. Let me read some of these comments. I'm positive though, guys. I still have belief. I know there is a bowl game on the horizon. If Nebraska beats Illinois, I feel amazing about it. Even if they lose to Illinois, there's still hope that they could get here or get there. But this is a 2-3 team who just lost to the number 2 team in the country, who looks like they could be the number 1 team in the country. They look fantastic. Terrible, just terrible says, what's even the point? The point is we get to watch and appreciate the rebuild. What other point is there? It's you wish it was better. Fufu says stadium looked half empty to start looked empty to start the second half. Yeah, a lot of people were leaving. I went downstairs and got Dippin' Dots. Yo, it was so hot today. It was 93, 94 degrees sitting in the sun. It can drain you. I got sunscreen on all day. No sunburn anywhere, I don't think. We're looking good. So I had to wear sunscreen, had to get the Dippin' Dots. I got the large one, $9, expensive for Dippin' Dots, but well worth it. I would have bought another one if I couldn't find any water. But yeah, a lot of people don't want to stay and sit in that heat. You gonna judge them? There was nothing fun about today. It was like total domination, and you knew it wasn't gonna get better. Jeff Sims lost us this game. Why did Jeff Sims lose us this game, Coach G? Explain what that means. Evanception. Yeah, I can't say that I'm super surprised, but I did still hope that it'd be closer. Yeah, I wanted to see it be competitive, for sure. And I'm really surprised it wasn't. I think I was a little bit more optimistic for the defense, but at the same time, Michigan's a different beast, and they haven't thrown out their entire arsenal until today. I mean, when I say entire, they played the first string, second string, third string, and fourth string quarterback. I'm pretty sure every single running back played. I mean, they let it hang out because they could. Nebraska couldn't do anything to anybody. Jack Tuttle, former Indiana quarterback who was garbage. Jack Tuttle came in there and let it drive. I mean, hang on, guys. I'm catching up. Clay Dogs, thank you for the $10 super chat. Good God, how long is it going to take this god-awful program to start winning? We said the same shit about Frost. There's hope. I love this team, but I can't watch high school level ball. Yeah, it is what it is. Like, I get what you're saying, but there is hope because there's hope that it will eventually change once they can recruit the right players. It feels really negative, and I don't want to be that negative because that's a pessimistic attitude, and I can't live my life with a pessimistic attitude. It will change eventually. Nebraska will get to bowl games and will win 8, 9, 10 games. It will happen. Unfortunately, you have to be patient because building a really strong football program takes time. You got to recruit all the right players. You got to figure out what doesn't work. Matt Rule has to learn how to win in the Big Ten. This whole coaching staff came from other places, not Big Ten schools. It's hard to come in and win in the Big Ten right away. These are fantastic coaches. This is a top conference in college football, right next to the SEC. So patience, it is what it is. But thank you, Clay Dogs, for the $10 super chat, and I totally empathize with you. Watching high school level football is frustrating. But my only other option is to not watch, right? What are you going to do? Not you, but me. What are you going to do? Not watch football? Not watch your team? I can't pick a different team. That's not how this works. I love college football, and I can watch other teams, but I'll never have the same emotion I get when I watch Nebraska. I'm not sure if you guys ever get like this. Maybe I'm just overly emotional. I think about... it'll come in my head when I see other programs have huge moments, like field rushing with Colorado over Colorado State, or tearjerker moments almost where you feel so inspired by that moment that it's a feel-good moment. I would never have that much emotion to the point where I would cry unless it was Nebraska, right? So I can't just say I'm gonna go put on a USC shirt today and I'm gonna be a USC fan. It's just not how it works. I was born into this. It's sick. It's a curse that I was born into it at the wrong time. It's so interesting. I was born in 1993, 30 years ago, when Nebraska was dominant. And everyone loves to tell me, they love to tell me, man, I was there. I got to see it. Man, it sucks that you didn't. Man, I know it sucks that I didn't. I've gone through it as a Nebraska fan. I've gone through the worst, the lowest points. I mean, if I was in the next generation, it'd be even worse. If I was a 20-year-old, oh, God. What's crazy is if I was a 20-year-old, I probably wouldn't be a Nebraska fan because all I would ever know is losing, and I wouldn't be able to support a losing team because I just can't get behind that. So I'm really grateful that I was born right before the bad run happened so I could at least, you know, have this time to dwell on what we do have. Short week, and hopefully they're ready to play against Illinois. Yeah, teams will regress to the mean. That's what we always talk about in sports betting, you know? And Nebraska is going to get back to how they were playing against Northern Illinois and Minnesota, Louisiana Tech. And when they do get back to that level, they're going to have no problem competing with every other team on the schedule. Michigan is the anomaly on the schedule. They are the dominant force. They were put together. They are a national champion caliber football team who's been in the playoff back-to-back years. Scott Frost in his first year lost to Michigan by like, I don't know, 50 or something. It was an embarrassing loss. It felt kind of how this one feels. But Nebraska bounced back that year. That was 2018. Nebraska bounced back that year, and they finished with 4 wins after that loss. So this game, you know, is what it is, but I'm still optimistic and hopeful for what's to come. I'm on my cousin's balcony, by the way, in Lincoln. Here's his view. It's pretty nice. He's got a really cool apartment. He let me stay here. Got a little air mattress for the night. I thank you, Jansen, for letting me stay. I'm with my friend Tyler. This is his 3rd or 4th Nebraska game. I asked him, he's a USC fan. I asked him what he thought about us coming on these Nebraska trips because whenever we come, it's a loss. He's only been to 1 win. He went to the Michigan State win. That was his first ever Nebraska game, and that was 2015. He said, you know, it's not about the wins and the losses for me. It's about just the total weekend experience. So I'll continue to keep coming back. He's like, but it does suck. And I was watching the Dave Portnoy show today, and Dave Portnoy's sitting there. Nebraska deserves better. Nebraska fans show up, and they should they show up for a terrible product, and they should get back to being relevant and good again for their fans. And it's just so true. It's just, you know, I'm rambling, and I'm just everything that's in my head, I'm just spitting out at you right now. It's hard. It's hard to process a loss like that and try, like I said earlier, for those who just tuned in, I said earlier, it's hard for me to process a loss like that and come away with some positive takeaways and bring you a good quality post-game show, right? This isn't a post-game show where I can analyze what happened and even care to. Who cares? I'll give you some analysis. Tristan Alvano being in as a kicker right now, I think is only hurting him. His confidence is already shot. He's 1 of 4, I think, on the season in kicks. You got to give Bleekrod a chance. Bleekrod was a serviceable kicker last year, but he couldn't make it from far away. Couldn't kick it deep. Put Bleekrod back in. Give him a chance. Because Alvano's brain, for whatever reason, is holding him back from actually making a kick. It's not a physical thing. The dude's got a great leg. The dude's done it before. We know he can. It's all mental for him. So let his brain reset. Let him recharge. It's not a crime to sit a guy down and let him take a breath and analyze it. It's kind of like the Jeff Sims deal. I said, let Jeff Sims sit down, take a breath, watch some other guys go out there and do things the right way, correctly, and then he can come back in with the right, proper mindset and probably be more successful. And when you do that for a player, it might actually be good for them. So that's a thought I have. Shout out to Adam Carricker for sponsoring the channel. It's hard for me to make content, as you guys know. So shout out to him for being a great partner, for helping me to continue to make free content. I know he has a gut reaction. I'm going to go watch it right after this, although I wonder what he's going to say. It's going to be interesting. CharacterChronicles.com. Make sure you check them out. I met another guy, Rodis, today, who's in our super chat. He said he wants to be a sponsor for the channel. It's so interesting. There's so many great Nebraska fans and supporters who want to help other Nebraska creators. So, again, thank you to Adam Carricker, and make sure you check out his content because he's helped me to keep the lights on. Joe T says a bunch of recruits came and watched us get stomped. Saw Carter Nelson out there today taking pictures with some people. I saw there's a receiver who I think is committed to Nebraska. I saw him walking around. I saw a few recruits. So, Yeah, they did watch us get stomped, but like Matt Rule said in the presser afterwards, hopefully they saw an opportunity. It's not just this team sucks and I don't want to go play there. It's, well, this team's got some issues and maybe they're missing a piece like me to come and be the Band-Aid. We need Band-Aids right now. We need gauze wrap. We need a surgeon. We need someone to come in and stitch some shit up. The problem is after you get surgery, it's a 9-month healing process. That's what we're in. We're in the healing process. Matt Rule is the surgeon. We were cut open. We were all messed up. Matt Rule came in with a scalpel, reset. Now they're trying to sew us back up. Man, just sucks. But it is what it is. Someone needs to light a fire under Rule's feet. What do you mean? Matt Rule's doing all he can with what he's got. Today is not indicative of what Matt Rule has done so far. Matt Rule so far has been good, I would say. I would grade him as a coach, as a good coach. He's made good adjustments. I like some of their play calls. I like that they've been focused on the run. I love that there's a lot of emphasis on defense. I mean, Matt Rule, if you had to grade him as a coach, he's getting better than average right now. But he's working with guys who he didn't recruit, guys who might not fit his system. It's hard to blame Matt Rule. Rick says Matt Rule has never been a quick fix coach. Probably won't see a real turnaround until the roster is mostly his players. Yeah, it's going to take 2 years to see a Nebraska team exceed 7 wins, I think. I mean, it's for sure because you look at the schedule next year, which hasn't been updated yet, but when that updated schedule comes out and we have to add a Washington or an Oregon, get ready for another long season. Oof. At least I got other games to watch. Huskerman30 says, was nice meeting you tonight. Yep, it was nice meeting you too. I met a lot of Corn Craze supporters today. They were all awesome. I love meeting you guys, like I told you. I've met so many people since I've been out here. I met Kenny Bell, Will Compton yesterday. I met Carricker today. I met a ton of Corn Craze supporters over the last few days. I met the NBNR podcast guys. I did a show with them this morning. Where's the Line? I did their radio thing this morning. So I met so many cool people. And I think that's the benefit for me coming out here. It's a lot of networking and showing face because I'm out in California and I'm so far away from all you guys who I want to connect with. So I'm glad I got to come out and do that. I'm going to go back out to the bars tonight, meet some more people. So, yeah. Minnie has space. She said, we will take out Illinois on Friday. She's a believer. Michael says, missed tackles galore killed them. Yeah, there were a lot of missed tackles. Michigan's just a more dominant team, and their running backs ran super hard. I mean, they've got players who are going to go and play in the NFL next year, and Nebraska doesn't have that many NFL players right now. You know, they're still getting built up. There's a massive talent gap. I mean, I didn't look at it, but I'm sure the talent gap is somewhere like Michigan has like a top 5 roster in the country, and Nebraska has a, top 50 roster in the country. So, yeah, it's really tough. Wade says, will this game help get recruits or will it shoo them away? I don't think this game will help or shoo them away. I think a lot of people expected a blowout. There are a lot of excuses that you can make for why it was a blowout. Recruits understand that. I wouldn't say it's a plus or minus for recruiting. I would say it is what it is. Chet says the O-line needs fixed. It all starts here. O-line needs work. That's no question. I think the issue with the O-line is you can't fix it right away. You got to get some of their newer recruits in. So it's going to take, again, a couple years to establish that. Logic says, what are your takeaways from this game? Also, your positivity is awesome. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Logic's finest. I honestly don't have any takeaways. Like, the only takeaway is Nebraska's not ready to compete with top 25 competition. No, they can compete with top 25 competition. I don't think they can beat any top 25 teams right now, but they can compete with them. And I'm not considering Colorado top 25, just so we're all on the same page. And Minnesota was not either. If Nebraska play a top 25 team right now, let's use an example. Kentucky. They're going to be a top 25 team. I think Nebraska would keep it within 10 with Kentucky for sure. But when we're talking about top 5 teams, they can go deep and Nebraska cannot. You take out Nebraska's starting linebacker and starting safety and there's a drop-off for sure. And you don't have the depth to rotate. So you're rotating guys who don't have as much experience and who aren't as big. So it's a tough one. Yeah, the takeaway is forget this game. Move on from it as fast as possible. It did not happen. Get everybody healthy that you can going into Illinois and win that game. Nebraska lost confidence immediately when they couldn't score and when Michigan scored on their first 3 drives to open the game. How many did they score in a row? 3 or 4? I can't remember. They scored on at least the first 3, back to back to back. That is crushing. Heinrich Harburg, I mean, he had, his turnovers. He had another fumble that he fell on, whatever. But he's getting blown up in the backfield. It was a fast environment for him, and he hasn't played in that situation before. When he goes up against Illinois, it'll be much more equal competition. Illinois is not as big as Michigan. They're not as fast as Michigan. They're not as well coached as Michigan. So forget this game, move on as fast as possible, clear it out of your head, and get on to the next, because there is still a bowl game in play. Nebraska looked terrible today, but they will regress to the mean, like I said. They will be better next week. So it's just one of those, forget about it situations. The Smark says they've been recruiting the right players for years. Yeah, but they had the wrong coaches. You have to have the right players, and you have to have the right coaches. Right now they have the right coaches, so we're hoping that they can get the right players to match up with them. Nebraska had the right players in the past, maybe. But they didn't have the right coaches coaching them up. You had a few coaches who were bright spots, but overall the Frost era was not right. So you have to have the perfect marriage. It has to be good players and good coaches. Can't just be one or the other. I got a couple super chats here. Hang on. Dash Camera, you sent me a $20 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you for the support. If I see a comment from you, I'm going to respond to it. Let me just slide. Let's see. Here it is. He said, we need bionic limbs. We need some robot players. If you can get some freakish athletes in right now, Nebraska will be great. But it's going to take time to build that. Thank you for the $20 super chat and supporting the show, though. You're the man. TAKL Farms, thank you for being a member. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Todd, you didn't text me today. I hope you got to watch the game and we're not on your tractor. But you probably wouldn't want to watch it anyway, so I hope you were on the tractor getting work done, actually. But thank you for the $20 super chat. He said we're still in surgery, haha. Yeah, it's going to be surgery for a minute. Surgery and recovery for a while. Caleb says, how would you grade Marcus Satterfield's play calling? There were a couple plays I liked today. It's hard from where you're sitting in the stands to see all the plays and where the running game's going. I'm going to have to watch the game to grade it. But there were moments where I thought he called some really good plays. I'm going to put it that way. Because I liked the Bonner play. The Heinrich Harbor got a shotgun right up the middle. I didn't really vibe with. I liked the quarterback run, but at a shotgun on 4th and 1, when we're going up against a more physical and faster defensive line, probably could have done without, but in general, I didn't think it was terrible. Fluffy Midget, I like that name. He says, I don't think the team shot themselves in the foot much. They were just outclassed. Yeah, they went up against a superior opponent who's not going to make mistakes. They shot themselves in the foot a couple times. They missed a lot of tackles. They didn't execute perfectly, had a couple drop balls, but in general, I agree with you. Gordon says, as a fan, since I've understood football, if you quit watching the first quarter, you're not a real fan. Win or lose, I am behind the team. That's why Dave Portnoy went on the college football show today, and he said, Nebraska has the best fans in America. They tolerate and put up with more than anyone else would. I get so much shit from all of my friends. A lot of my friends are USC fans, or they're Michigan fans, or Ohio State. And they laugh. They're like, I cannot believe that you go so hard for your team. Like, they don't even go that hard for their team, and their teams are all winning. And I go, you guys know how hard I go for my team. They're like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, everywhere you go, you got a Nebraska hat on. I got 90 Nebraska hats in my closet. Like, you represent it so well, and they don't love you back. I'm like, yeah, I'm in a toxic relationship. Everyone in Corn Craze knows. We all know it's a toxic relationship, and we're all sick. It's what it is. We need therapy. None of us want to go to therapy. G Money says, this is Matt Rule. I trust him. I really do. But he's a builder, not a Deion Sanders. We will win. He is a builder. He's proven he's a builder. That's what you got to be hopeful for. You got to be hopeful that because he has built things in the past, although we've had coaches Scott Frost, who were unable to get it done, this guy has proven he can. He wants to be Michigan. Today, he watched himself 5 years from now. That's what Nebraska's going to look like. They're going to have a J.J. McCarthy, maybe a Dayton Raiola. They're going to have a lot of fast athletes because they love speed. They're going to have some big offensive linemen. Their strength and conditioning program is fantastic. So you got to give it time. It is what it is, man. Deion will be a band. We're talking about Deion Sanders still. Let's see. Dream and Digital says, disappointed Rule isn't putting his foot down and benching some of the starters like Corcoran who aren't doing anything. Give some of the young guys a shot to see what they can do. Yeah, I think Rule still wants to win, so he wants to leave his best players on the field, and he's afraid that there's nobody better than Corcoran behind him, which is concerning right now given all that Corcoran's been through. How did Prohaska play today? I didn't get to see his side. I was on the opposite side when I'd see him in the game. But I'd love to see how Prohaska played because, yeah, that's one that a lot of people have been calling to replace Corcoran at this point. But, yeah, left side of the offensive line has some issues. Let's see here. Fluffy says, Corum hits the holes so much faster and harder than any other backs we've seen so far this year. The dude's a freak. Both of them. Donovan Edwards is a freak, too. So is number 20. I don't know his name. That guy was fast. So Michigan just has crazy athletes. It's not a comparison right now. The Hamster Fist says Michigan could potentially win the national championship this year. People are insane to be upset over this. Nebraska needs to recruit and develop. Rule seems like a guy that can do that. Yeah, that's kind of my point. You can't be upset. What's there to be upset about? This was what it was. It's a dominant team versus a team who's in rebuild mode. Gordon says we could beat Kansas. When I talked about earlier, I said that we could compete with top 25 teams. I don't know. Kansas is pretty damn good. They're polished. Kansas would be a battle with Nebraska. I would probably take Kansas in that, unfortunately. Justin says Nebraska could compete with USC. That's actually funny. Nebraska can't score, and they can't score to their own. It's their own fault they can't score. So even though USC's defense is bad, I don't think they can score on them because their own issues. But if USC would have been in Lincoln today, Nebraska would have put up 21, 24 points easily on them. But USC would have still scored 50. Minnie says, oddly, I've been way more upset over losses. Good news is Tony White will be staying next year. Good news is Tony White's going to be here next year. He's not getting a job somewhere else, I wouldn't think. But you never know. They could turn it around and he could be a hot commodity. Cody says, the coaching from Illinois is better than what we have. I don't agree with that. I think the head coach is really good and proven. But overall, I don't think Illinois has that great of a coaching staff. They're good, but Illinois is whatever. Did Illinois beat Purdue today? I don't remember. I didn't see. I saw a score pop up, but now I can't remember if it was a win or a loss for Illinois. The Smark says, remember to say the Nebraska football mantra every game. We must stay positive even if we have to force it, knowing it's not true. It will get better. Things will improve. Repeat over and over. You trolling me? Trying to be funny right now? Smark? I think you're funny, huh? William says, where is Coleman? The playbook is super complicated, apparently. I heard that today. I was talking to some people. Told me playbook's more complicated than it's been in the past. And for a lot of players, it's making it so they can't get on the field or they have to switch positions, right? So Coleman is a freshman. And it's just going to take him more time to learn so that they can be comfortable playing them in these games. So all these freshmen who we want to see play, I think they're being held back because they've got to learn. And until they can learn and master the playbook, they can't be trusted to go in because there's so many calls. You got to be ready. You got to make sure you can make decisions quickly, right? Nebraska's playing Big Ten football. They're not playing NIU or Louisiana Tech every week. So if you're not a quick decision maker because you don't know that your role is to do X and you're doing Y, it can cause some problems, as you would expect. If you don't know how to do your job, how can they trust you to do the job? Let's see. Crypto Badger with another 20. Thank you for the super chat and the support, Todd. You're the man. I love John's take on that left side. Just hold them for the love of God. Quit letting your QB get destroyed. I fully agree with him if Corcoran can't block a high schooler. I didn't see the sacks, and I didn't see, because I was watching from a totally different perspective today. If you guys want to see where my seats were, you can go to my Instagram. It's CONN1R. And on my Instagram story, I posted where I was sitting. But because I was so low, I can't see who's missing what blocks. So I'm going to have to go back and watch. But, of course, typically the left tackle would be the one who would be giving those up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that today when I watch the game back. Let's see. Dennis says, in year one, we lost to a well-established number 2 team. Why are we panicking? I'm not panicking. Are you guys panicking? I mean, I know there's going to be some extremists who are going to. I don't want to call them extremists. I'm sorry. If you're an extremist, sorry. I know there are some people who I've accidentally called extremists who aren't extremists. They're over emotional because you have to realize for 5 years they've been getting hit in the head with a bat over and over and over. And if you got hit in the head with a bat over and over and over, you would feel the same way. Some of us have a helmet on, some of us don't. So the guys who don't have the helmet on, they're tired of it and they're breaking. And so they're throwing the towel in and they don't want to be patient because they're over it. They don't want to sit in 93-degree heat, right? Which I get. They don't want to pay $9 for Dippin' Dots, which, again, I get. They don't want to drive all the way and pay $35 for parking. The walk into the stadium from where we parked took me 24 minutes, 22 minutes. Maybe not that long, maybe 18, because there was a lot of people walking. It was congested. But the point is, it's an investment. Trekking from your car to the stadium in 93 heat alone, you want to see something in return. You want to be rewarded for putting it in. People say, like, oh, fans complain about their team, this, that. Well, no shit. Fans pay $9 for Dippin' Dots. So, Dennis, is it Dennis who said this? Yeah. Dennis, I don't think they're panicking. I think they're venting, and they just vent a different way out of frustration because, like I said, they're getting hit in the head with a bat, and they're over it. I'm the same way. I just have a higher tolerance for pain. But I think all of us realize, realists, people who are rational, people who think and use common sense, they aren't freaking out over this game and saying, oh my God, this season's over. Because it's not. There's a lot of football left against some really shitty teams. No, we're not going to say that. There's a lot of football left against some teams who match up really well with Nebraska. Right? I feel good about all the matchups going forward. Wisconsin could be dangerous. But outside of that, I feel damn good. That's all I'm going to say. Let me see. I'm reading through comments, guys. I'm looking for the best ones to respond to. Rob says, we're bad. Just look at the depth chart. There isn't one dude. So I disagree with that. I think there are some dudes. I don't think there are enough dudes. There's not depth of dudes, right? There's like a few on the front line. And until they can recruit enough of them, it's going to be really hard to compete with the best teams in the Big Ten. But my hope is that there are enough dudes to get them through the rest of this schedule. We'll see. But I do think there are some. I would argue that there are some. Are You Super Serial says, can't be disappointed if you had no expectations for this game to begin with. Facts. I didn't have any expectations. So because I didn't... Sorry, my thing paused. So because I didn't have any expectations going into the day, I'm not disappointed. I'm fine. It's, whatever. I came and enjoyed a day at the park with my friends. I'm scrolling to the bottom of the chat. I was behind, guys. Sova says, I'm just worried about recruits for next season. I wouldn't be worried. I think there's a lot of excitement still for Matt Rule. Players like their coaches that are here at Nebraska, which means that it gives me hope that the incoming recruits are going to like these coaches. Carter Nelson's coming to Nebraska. Promise you that. Maybe he's not staying in Nebraska if things don't get turned around, but he's coming to Nebraska. You get a superstar tight end there. They're going to get some guys in the portal. They already have a pretty good recruiting class, and I don't think those guys are going to decommit. So as long as they get those key pieces, that's step one in the build, right? That's step one in their first class, and it's a good class. It's a top 30 class. I don't remember where it ranks, 25, 20, somewhere in there. They're a good class. So I'm not worried about the recruits as much. Zach says, I'm over-emotional. I try so hard not to be like this. I don't like being this way. I feel so guilty. Don't feel guilty, bro. It's all good. I get why you're emotional. It's frustrating. When you invest this much time and this much love and energy into a team, like I said, you're investing a ton into it. From the Dippin' Dots to the walking all the way to the stadium from your car to the parking. It's a big investment just in there. Then we talk about thinking about it all week. Watching Corn Crazed and Corn Nation and Adam Carricker and all these videos all week. You're spending your time Time is the most valuable commodity you have. So when you add in money with the time, it's like, damn, I'm putting a lot in. And when you have no return on that investment, it's frustrating. So I'm not knocking anybody who gets over emotional. I get it. It's tough for me too. Judy says at my age, Judy's like 35. She says at my age, giving up on them is not an option. GBR until I'm dead. I love that, Judy. Yeah, there is no giving up. I'm 30. I'm too deep in. I can't switch sides now. I wish I could. Honestly, it'd be so much better for my whole life, right? I'd have more fun rooting for Georgia or whoever. I'd make more money on my channel because they'd be winning, so all the bandwagon fans would come on. Right now, think about this. How crazy is this? I've been talking to so many people about Corn Craze this last couple of days because there are a bunch of Corn Craze supporters out here roaming the streets of Lincoln, and they all give me their feedback and their takes, and the Corn Craze army is so freaking awesome. I think like minds attract certain people, and so most of the people who watch our show are like me. And I like to think of myself as someone who's positive, uplifting, has common sense. So you guys are pretty much the same way. Anyway, I've gotten so much positive feedback, and if we had that bandwagon element to our team because we were winning, the views would be doubled, the subscribers would be doubled, the channel would be popping like you wouldn't believe. It's already popping, it's already amazing because you guys make it amazing. But this is without any bandwagons. This is just with the sickos. Corn Craze right now is just sickos. They're obsessed with Nebraska football and can't get away in a disgustingly toxic relationship, but won't divorce them, won't break up with them. So, interesting situation. People always say, like, I cannot believe how diehard the Corn Craze audience is. They watch videos. For 10,000 people watched a video of me talking about a game where Nebraska lost by 30, I don't even know what the final score was. Don't even know. Because I already forgot about it. So I told myself, I'm walking out of this Memorial Stadium today. I'm going to go make my post-game live reaction. I'm going to talk about it for 2 minutes. There's not much positive to take away. So I'm going to forget about it just like Matt Rule and these players need to and move on to Illinois. I'm already halfway to Champaign. So I don't know what the final score was. But yeah. Anyway, next comment. Minnie Hunt. Thank you for being a member, Minnie. She says, I like what Gifford said. I haven't watched the press conference interviews, by the way, yet, guys. I'm going to watch those tomorrow when I get home. My flight out is at 3:20 in the afternoon, so I'll be home by like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock California time, and I can rewatch the game and rewatch the pressers. Tonight, I'm going to dinner. I'm going to go to the Oven in Lincoln in the Haymarket area. I'm going to go to the Oven, and then I'm going to go out. I don't know where I'm going to go out, but I am going to go out tonight. So I won't be watching or dissecting anything from the game today. Okay, she said, I like what Gifford said. We take it out on the next team. That's got to be the mentality. You're pissed off. It's bullshit that you got ran through. It sucks for the stars, for the Giffords, who are really good football players and who would start on other teams, right? And although you don't have a team full of stars right now, you have a team full of guys who are trying to figure it out, the stars are going to come and take it out on the next team. They're going to bully him. Harburg's got to bully him. He's got to be pissed off next week after what happened this time. The offensive line's got to be pissed off that they got bull rushed today and they got to go and play against the team who they match up with better. So, yeah, hopefully Gifford backs that up. The Hamster Fist says Maryland kills them, but the next four in Iowa anyways match up well. I don't think Maryland kills them. Maryland's a good team, but Maryland is not great. Come on. Nathan says thoughts on a bowl game this year. Ask me after Friday, after the Illinois game. Joel says, you guys on Carricker's site do a great job of helping us keep it in perspective. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I always try to see the bigger picture, not to get overly emotional. I promise you, if I was at my house and if I was watching these games, I'd probably be cussing at the TV screen too. But I come back and I sit here and I think about it because I've got to talk to you guys. There's thousands of people who want to hear my perspective now. So I try to be rational. I try to say, okay, let's not be over emotional. Let me not throw a beer at the TV and be pissed off and go and get in a drunken rage. Let me chill, take a breath, and see where we stand. And at the end of the day, this doesn't change anything. This Michigan loss sucks. But that's all it is. It sucks. That's it. Nothing else. Next week is totally fine. So, anyway. Lunar says, I think we would have played a lot better if we didn't, or if we hadn't lost a lot of these hurt guys. Yeah, I think so too, but, you know, it is what it is. The situation is the situation. Well, guys, I've been live for 40 minutes, BSing with you, talking to you about a game that just doesn't matter because I'm already in Champaign, halfway to Champaign. Sitting here looking at the view in Lincoln. God, look at that skyline, like the apartment skyline. Isn't that nice? Nebraska's so beautiful. I don't know what happened to any of the injured players. I'm gonna have to do my research and see what's going on, watch all the presser stuff, but I don't have an update for you there. Just got home, gonna take a shower, go back out in Lincoln tonight. So I'm gonna get out of here and watch some football. Guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate the hell out of all you. Everybody who came and took pictures with me on this trip. Everybody who supports the channel has sent me super chats and tips and bought merch from me and hit the like button. Everything you guys have done has been amazing. It's hard. It's hard to be a Nebraska YouTube channel when things happen like today. But you guys make it worth it. So thank you guys for being here. I'm going to get out of here and watch some football like I said. So until next time, thanks for being here and go Big Red.